Oh, I'll give you a good tour of the racetrack.
So we don't know what year that was.
That's the first one, whatever
Yeah.
it was.
Some little guy from Worcester took 100 grand off you.
Yeah.
Jeez, what was he think? What? How did you let him do that, Keith?
I don't know.
I know why.
Yeah.
There's two reasons. Two reasons, and
Two big reasons.
this guy might have sculpted them if he'd had half a chance. Tell me about this, Keith. What is this?
That's my helmet. Looking out through a helmet, and potatoes flying through the air.
Oval potatoes.
Oval potatoes. The guy I drove for was a artist, eccentric artist.
Yeah.
He drew that, so it's kind of neat. Something different.
Well, it's definitely different.
Yeah.
Look at that rock star.
Yeah.
Holy cow, Keith. Look at that. Look like you're getting ready to get into an Indy car.
Yeah.
Except we're cooler. Look at some of this stuff. I'm really glad you've kept a lot of this stuff because some people don't. You know, some people just don't keep it.
Oh, yeah.
What's going on here, Keith? Could you explain this one to me, please? Just come over here and...
I was in Texas.
Yes.
Gary Stanton's car, and some girls wanted a picture taken.
They wanted their picture taken.
Yeah. So
Now,
there we are.
and so what's going on just down there
That's
on the
when I smoked a
ground?
cigarette when I smoked.
There's not a lot of air pressure in that left rear.
No.
Wow, would you look at that? That's a cool painting. Wow. Pennsylvania really celebrates its history as good as any state,
Oh, yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
you know.
Here's a local wrestling team where we did a thing at the racetrack with my first race car and one of my later race
No
cars. And
way.
this is actually at the stage at the racetrack with the wrestling team.
Boy,
So-
that's a gun show and a half right there, isn't it?
Yeah, and that was back in the early 2000s.
So that one was for you. This one was more for Kathy. Where did you win the exercise bikes, Keith? What race was that?
That was the stay in shape for the race
To
car.
stay in shape 50. So are you a wrestling guy? Like
No, not really. No, I was a football player, basketball player in high school.
Well, one of your best friends was a pretty handy wrestler from Holmesville.
Oh, yeah.
That's how we got the nickname the Mouse, right?
He was a big in wrestling, yeah.
Yeah, like
I
a little
was never
guy.
a big fan of wrestling, but
Yeah, it's kind of strange to me.
they talk about it all the time.
Ooh, that's beautiful. Where did the now this is all the West Aussies are going to remember this, and
Yeah.
Luch Monty is in Australia right now, and Sean Karen is going to love that as well. Where did the K33 come from? Obviously the K, but why 33?
My first car was a number 2, and another guy actually sponsored a late model and then a street stock. So he wanted to sponsor my race car too.
Yep.
And he had number 33s on them. So he wanted me to put 33 on the car.
Yep.
And I said, okay, I'll change it, but I want K33.
Huh.
So that's how that came about.
Okay.
So this guy actually sponsored 3 race cars.
So you can't be bought. He wanted the 33, and he's like, "How much does it cost?" You said, "You can have the 33 as long as I get K."
Yeah, that's how it
I'm
came
really
about.
glad you've kept this because so many drivers don't. Like Wolfie's got nothing in his house.
I know, nothing.
Nothing. And even Jack's running out of stuff. Like Horde, he hasn't got that much stuff anymore. He's given it to his kids and he's just giving it away. And
Yeah.
But I'm glad you've done this.
Yeah.
Are you a hunter as well?
Yeah, I hunt some.
Huh.
Yeah, not as much as I used to, but I lost interest in that. But still, there's more stuff over here.
There's a couple of Kathy's champagne glasses you got rolling here. Oh yeah. that was good.
Yeah, have a toast.
Boy, I got some moonshine will go well in that. Wow.
Yeah.
Is this your wine drinking glasses here, Kathy? I'm not even going to pretend I'm serious. Wow.
Here, this is his 100th win at Port Royal.
So you got 129 now or something, is that right? Or thereabouts?
Actually, 130. They took one away from me.
Wait. Talk about that. Why did they take one away from you?
Well, we had a little trouble.
Uh-huh.
Last lap pass, and the guy ran over my right rear tire and flipped. And in the 461 car.
Oh.
Yeah, so when I pulled in victory lane, they said...
You gave them a don't argue.
Yeah, they took the win away from me. Said rough riding.
Who was driving the
Paul
461?
Latier.
Oh,
Latier.
Paul Latier. Wow.
Yes. So. Yeah.
Somebody.
So Keith, you still got your first cell phone?
Yes, right here.
Yeah, just how did you actually use that?
It had a dial inside. You could dial it.
Wow. And where did you speak? Did you just that was the earpiece, right?
Pick this up.
Pick that up.
Hello, Kathy. You left me at the racetrack. Could you come back and get me?
Yeah, again.
A few choice words added to that.
He had the money though. You had the prize money.
Yeah.
So did you win that night?
No, I don't know what we did. I can't remember.
I don't know. I just know everybody cleared the motorhome when he got there.
Yeah,
the
the
next
look on his
day.
face.
Oh, it was scary.
Jimmy Sills. I bumped in with Jimmy
Yeah, I mean,
Sills.
you had to have a night with buckwheat. You know what I mean? Like, it's a win-win the way I see it.
This was one of the first ones here. I had an old, I don't even have a picture of my first car. It was an old Bobby Abel car.
Hard to believe those wings really did much.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
wow, look at that hairdo, mate. How good is that? They're racy. Are they sneakers? Are they sneakers you're wearing? Yeah, they are Converse. I was just gonna say, are they Converse?
You got me.
Oh, that's
That
because
was an
they're
old
fireproof.
Al Hamilton car
Really?
that Jan Opperman ran.
Oh,
And he didn't like it.
so you sell take that.
Yeah. Wow.
And who was it? Benton House.
Oh, Gary Bentonhouse,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's so good. Look at that thing laying over on the right here. Where is that taken at?
That's probably at Indy on the mile.
Wow.
And that's a neat poster too. This one up here.
Oh, yeah, wow. That's Stevie Smith down there in the right corner. Like you can just, isn't it funny how you can just immediately spot the Ingersoll Rand?
Yeah.
When I drove through New Oxford last year, I was like, oh my God, that's New Oxford. That's the home of Stevie Smith.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's my Brickmobile, the Zemco car.
There's a USAC Rookie of the Year in '82
Whereabouts?
behind you.
Over here, that's
See the USAC?
yeah.
Woo!
Yeah, we got to go to a big banquet.
Did you?
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, well, that was an
And
IndyCar
look at-
banquet at the time.
Back here, his parents gave him permission to. What
Oh,
was
race
it?
a quarter midgets.
That's the day that they had to sign for him to be able to race.
Yeah, when I was like 5 years old or something.
Whatever happened to that guy in his career? I mean, you know, lucky your mom gave you permission, mate.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, that's pretty old.
There's another outlaw poster.
Yeah, geez, look at the faces there. Is there any chance that your wife is a backseat driver, Keith? Or
Slight chance.
just a little?
Just a slight chance.
So Port Royal is literally through your window.
Yes. You can see the lights and hear the announcer. After the races, we used to come home when I was racing. You could hear.
So you come home for a shower after the heat race?
Yeah, as soon as the race was over, we come home.
Oh, wow. That's funny.
So,
Look at this Pennsylvania weather. 5 seasons in one day.
yes.
Look to the right how dark it is.
If you don't like the weather, wait a minute. So
many
this
years
is the Trinity United Methodist Church in Mifflintown.
Yep, and it snowed that morning, and we came outside, and the sun was shining. It
In
was
Mifflin.
February.
This is actually Mifflin on the side.
Huh.
Mifflin Town and Mifflin.
Well, there's a difference.
And
Yes.
then we went on our honeymoon to the Daytona 500.
That was actually.
You're such a romantic.
I know.
Wow, and your mum still plays the organ there, you said, Kathy?
Yes, she's 86.
That's so good.
Yep. Started when she was 13.
Harling's Hoagie Shop.
How about that?
Hey?
And that used to be my aunt's restaurant. It doesn't look very nice now, but that stone building was
That stone building.
Wow.
Three bullets.
Pennsylvania buildings really look like they're narrow streets everywhere. Everyone's houses go right onto the street. Like,
This is actually Mifflin.
It's an older town, old railroad town.
My grandma used to live right there.
isn't that incredible how you just have so many connections to so many buildings? So 45 years ago, you convinced this woman that you were in a bad investment.
Yeah.
Even after that very first line that she didn't hear. Wow.
To be able to get on a train here.
Is that the Love Tunnel Eldora
Yes,
there? Look
it
at
is.
that.
Yep.
It's a pretty train station.
Is it? Oh, yeah, they're always beautiful, those old ones, aren't they?
Yep.
My cousin owns this car, Matt Ezra's.
Mad Ezra's? Oh, we got to go have a beer in there, don't we? There's a bike out the front. What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah.
Are we on the wrong side of the tracks, literally, here?
we
A little bit.
I was like... All right, so is this Mifflintown or is this Mifflin? Or is this Port Royal?
This is Mifflin.
On our way to Port Royal.
Yeah, on our way to Port Royal.
So how long literally from your front door in the truck does it take to get to the racetrack?
5 minutes.
Depending on whether you're running late for the driver's meeting.
He's never late.
Port Royal Speedway. I'm finally here. I heard that in the background. He's never late. I'm finally here and it's raining. That's
Yeah, it's
great.
starting to
It's
rain.
so good. I know it.
But this is actually the back road here. The main road's quicker.
Huh?
But the bridge are fixing a bridge on the main road. So.
I'm getting the tourist tour. I like that. The Cook's tour. Okay, so that house there.
This house here had a hole in the side of it. Somebody's tire come off and put a big hole in the side of that house here.
That is turn 1 and 2
Yes.
at Port Royal Speedway, and that is someone's house.
Very, very similar to the north.
Have you ever landed out here?
No.
No?
I have, yeah.
Oh, you didn't get out this end, though?
No, huh? No.
Yeah. Cars getting out of the yard happens a little bit in America.
Mm-hmm. This is where they push the cars out onto the track. You can get a little
Keith, this is devastating. You brought me here.
better
It's
picture.
like we're outside the strip club and the door's locked. Like, you know? You bring me to this awesome racetrack and we can't watch anything.
We'll stay another week.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. Do you think Knoxville will notice?
Yeah.
That's a long straightaway.
Yeah.
That's a wide place, isn't it? Like, it's wide.
We actually widened it 10 foot from before.
Keith, you talk about this place with so much pride. You know, this we own this. This is us here. This is what we did here. Like, it's something. It's been your whole life.
Yes.
Do you remember? Like, you would have been like straight out of the crib pretty well into this joint, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, my dad was involved here, and now all this new stuff. I've helped do all this new stuff. So.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
helped make this campground. Helped with the barn. Did all the dirt work for the barn. For the racetrack, building the grandstands.
So you were selling
Sweet.
popcorn back then.
Yes.
Well,
Before I started racing.
What was popcorn worth a bag back then?
Used to sell cushions to set on the old covered grandstand for 10 cents a piece or something.
And you got a percentage of that? Is that how that worked?
I
Or
just got paid so much an hour. If I even got that, I don't even remember.
Isn't
Wouldn't
it?
have been much.
now, isn't that an incredible story? That
Mhm.
it's like a kid working at Fenway and going on to win the World Series.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way you could look at
Yes.
that, right?
Yes, you could.
And you know yourself, and Kathy, you know yourself, you weren't born into this like us lunatics were, but you're just as passionate as we are, that when this gets in your DNA, it's all over,
Yeah.
right? You're never, ever going to get it out. Some people turn their back on it because it just hurts too much not to be part of it. Was that like you when you hung up the helmet?
Yeah, I guess I just knew when it was time, so
It's hard to because a lot of our friends aren't racing anymore. They're new
Yep.
people and
Yeah,
we
sure.
miss them.
it was a little different, but I don't know. It was okay. I was ready. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
You know,
Yep.
so- and then I got involved over here, so that was kind of neat. So
There's a track right down there. Wow.
give you a little.
That's a
bit of-
great facility. Like, you got a lot of room here.
Yes. This is how you enter the pits.
So
This road.
that is the back stretch heading down to turn 3.
Yes.
This is the housing.
Yeah.
These
People used to sit on these roofs and watch the races.
Wow.
Yeah.
So many people get over this side of the fence. Anybody get out of the yard over here?
Oh, they have. Not the cars, but there has been some tires and wheels.
Wow, that's a decent size signage there too.
Oh yeah, yeah. I actually helped build all these walls and this fence and all these signs up here.
You just love it, don't you, mate?
Did all this work, yeah.
You'd have to love it to do
Did
this.
a lot of the work.
Yeah. It's a very passionate state. There's no doubt about it, Keith. It's one of the most passionate places I've ever been to.
I had a few trips out over this fence.
Ah,
This
so
end of the
turn
race.
3 and 4, you've ended up in this part of the world.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's softer out here. It wasn't bad landing out here.
So the weather's perfect. It wasn't before though, Keith.
No.
So we know that's always the way. It always goes perfect sun after a rain out. You're very proud of this place. Obviously, you started selling popcorn and seat covers here.
Many years ago,
How old were you then?
probably 5 or 6,
Okay.
10 years old maybe.
What do you remember about that? Was it a good way to get in for free to the races and get paid a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit. Make some extra money.
Yeah, wow. And your dad was on the fair board, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
What have you loved about this place? Like, what do you remember thinking at the time, I'm going to drive one day? Or
Well,
not?
that's what I used to tell everybody, my friends. I said, boy, this looks like fun. I'm going to do that someday. And I did. So, but I don't know. I just always just fell in love with the sprint cars.
Did you have a hero?
Yeah, I had quite a few, but never just one. But I liked all of them, but it was just fun to watch.
Who were the guys that you sort of remember thinking,
Oh, Mitch Smith, Lynn Paxton,
yeah,
Johnny Grom.
What about Smokey? Any of those sort of guys?
Snellbaker used to win a lot of races.
They seemed like such fantastic names back then, didn't they? Like Smokey Snellbaker and Tommy Hühnerschnitz. And,
Yes.
You know, so did you race anything before sprint cars?
I raced go-karts some a little bit and some quarter midgets when I was really young, but no. Just jumped right into sprint car, you know, and didn't know anything about it. Wasn't a very good mechanic, but just to learn. The first 10 years I raced, I owned my own cars, so had to learn how to make them go.
Did you race? Was it here the first time?
Yes.
Do you remember thinking, "Holy cow"?
Yeah, it didn't look very wide then. When you went in the corners, it looked pretty narrow.
How long do you think it took you to get to a point where you were confident?
It took me 6 years till I won a race, and that wasn't actually here. It was in East Windsor, New Jersey.
6 years.
Yes.
It's a long time.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I didn't know nothing about the cars, or wasn't that good of a mechanic, but had to learn, and I kind of did over the years.
What did Dad think of all this at the time?
Yeah, it was okay, but I was a farm boy, so you know I was supposed to be home working on the farm instead of fooling around with the race cars. But it all worked out.
Sprint car racing and dirt racing tends to give you far more than you realize at the time. You get a lot more than you give to a sport like this. And a good point is your beautiful wife, who you met out there.
Yes.
In the pits, or was it out there in the pits? She said it was in the infield, right?
I think probably in the infield. Yeah.
Yeah.
We used to hang out in there before I started racing, but yeah.
So all of the really incredible things in your life have started here.
Yes, and I probably wouldn't want to change anything. You know.
Yeah.
Kids were raised on the road, going to the races and saw the races, and probably tired of seeing the old man at the racetrack, you know.
But that's the way that they associate. That was their normal.
That was what we did. You know, that's what I did. So, you know, they didn't have much choice.
And some of your greatest friends are obviously racers and racing people as well.
Yeah. Yes.
Like Kenny Jacobs obviously springs to mind immediately. The friendship you have with the Jacobs family.
Kenny and Kim, yes, and their whole family, because they kind of grew up together, and the kids together when Kenny and I were racing. The girls, Kim and Kathy, they were watching the kids and chasing the kids around. So yeah, we got to be real good friends, and still are real good friends.
Do you have friends outside of racing as well, or predominantly people in the sport?
Well, more so in the sport, but there's still some friends outside the sport. Yes.
So you got any other passions other than, you know, racing?
Nah, not really.
The way you said, yeah, I was like, no, you don't. So no bowling or anything like that?
Nah, I hunted some and did that, but you know, I wasn't much of a golfer, so I never liked that. But just now I just kind of stay at home and go to Port Roll on Saturday nights and watch the other ones from back home on TV. So it's kind of fun just to be at home now. Did enough of traveling all over the country.
Do you think places like this have a life of their own? Like, I just listen. I mean, that's a train in the background right now, but we just saw like a hare or a rabbit or something just hopping across the track just then. You said there's albino deer and things, but like that, I think Clay
goes on around here that you never see, you know.
Clay lives in places like this, live and breathe. You can almost hear the stands, you know, like even when they're quiet.
It's neat, and it's quiet over here because I come over quite a bit and work, so and help with everything. So it's different. It's quiet.
And your house is like over the top of the Kenworth sign, and you've ended up. You look like you were trying to head home a couple times early.
Yeah, landed outside the fence on the wrong end of the fence already. Yes, I have. So
apart from winning, what did you love about sprint car racing?
I don't know. I guess it was just a challenge. You know, it was just that, you know, how do you win, and you know how hard it was to win. So you had to work really, really hard to win races, and stay on top, and to keep winning races. Because you could win a race one night and turn around the next night and then not even make the race. So
and the other way around too, right?
Yes, it could work.
Because you could always say there's always tomorrow.
Yes. So it's pretty. It could be a real humbling sport.
What do you struggle with the sport? Are there things that tested you over the years? What were the hardest parts of it?
Well, I think I just enjoyed it. You know, I mean, it was a lot of work, and people don't realize how much work and how many hours it takes. But I don't know. I was used to working all week and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, so the racing, it just kind of fit in, I guess, with it.
Yeah.
There was no days off. I mean, you just you had a holiday. Well, you know, where was the race? We got to go to a race someplace.
Yeah, can't spend time at home.
Yeah.
You
So-
raced for pretty well all of the iconic Pennsylvanian car owners. My friend Reeve Cruck, who owned Titan Racing USA, that Darren Pittman drove for, he always said a car owner with a car is a car owner. A driver with a car owner is a driver. A car owner without a driver is still a car owner. A driver without a car owner is not a driver.
Yeah.
Car owners are a critical element in our sport. Yet they aren't always easy,
No, they're
but
not.
God love them.
Yeah. And I tried to get along with everybody pretty good, you know. Like,
Yeah.
Like Weicker and I, we were on and off 3 or 4 times, you know. Probably
Yeah.
been fired more times there than any place, but always kept it, you know, tried to suck it up and just go on. And, you know, hell, maybe a year or so later, I'd go back. You know, he'd call on the phone, hey, what are you doing? You know, so.
Well, it's a small world, right?
Yeah,
You can't
yeah.
afford to burn bridges.
Yeah, so I always tried to be nice and kept in good contact with them, and you know, didn't make them too mad. If we had our outs and things didn't go good, why,
Yeah.
you know, it's time to do something else.
Your buddy won $100,000.
Mm-hmm.
You nearly did. Some bloke with a wheelbarrow that he walks around in front of him won that. What would that have been like to win 100,000? Did you give yourself a chance to dream?
Well, yeah, it would have been pretty neat. I could see 100,000 was right in front of me,
Yep.
but I couldn't quite get there.
What was in the way?
Well, there's 2 cars in the way. Jack was in one, and Kinzer was in the other one. You know, so. And then the U2 car actually almost won one of the big ones.
Yeah.
Dave Blaney won that race. I started on the rear, qualified last in the B main, started on the rear in the U2 car. It was up to 3rd, knocking the inside wall down.
Yeah, right.
And it was that slick and slow, and then the motor broke right at the end. But I feel sure we would have won that race.
Wow.
Yeah, but didn't.
And here we are racing a couple of weeks ago for $1 million to win.
That's amazing.
I mean, there was a Mopar million a few years ago
Yes.
from a non-wing point of view, and late models have had phenomenal money for a long time. So the money has been there periodically.
Yes, it's amazing. There's that many big shows this year. You know, Houston's had that big one, 250,000.
Yeah.
You know, Eldora, $1 million. You know, 10,000 doesn't sound like much back. 10,000 was a lot back in my day. If you wanted 10,000 to win race, but boy, now that's just an average night anymore for the Outlaws. So
Well, I mean, what people don't realise about the Knoxville Nationals is it pays $15,500 to take the green.
yes.
And that's what I think a lot of people don't understand. To make the A main is $15,500 for a shot at 175.
That's a big accomplishment just to make that.
Yeah.
It's really tough making that show.
Tell me about Kathy. Tell me about what that woman has been like in your life. Because my God,
she's been a big supporter. I mean, you know, we
can't be an easy
traveled
life.
all over the country, and you know, like I said, she was my biggest supporter. So, and it takes that. You got to have a good wife to put up with all this stuff that we went through.
And you travel with the kids on the road as well.
Oh yeah.
So,
yeah.
and you know, you got to tune out, right? Like you're out there or anywhere else that you're at doing 130, 140 mile an hour. You can't really be stressed out in the motorhome before you go out and do that stuff. So Kathy probably has to shield you from
it's
a lot of that stuff. Like
it's a tough deal, you know, to keep the kids. They'll let me go rest a little bit or something
yeah,
before a race. You know, you
kids,
gotta
let
drive.
your father relax.
Oh yeah.
Because were you keyed up on race day?
Well, yeah, I'm kind of calm all around anyway, but you probably don't see it, but I do get nervous, keyed up, you know.
Tell me about the restaurant experience.
That was something I thought it'd be.
You grimaced when you said that.
Yeah,
What kind of restaurant was it?
It was a sit-down, old stainless steel diner.
Okay.
Yeah, an old 50s type diner.
Nice.
Yeah, so the kids were just a little bit too young. Kathy's a really good cook, really good with food.
Oh, so she was going to cook and everything?
Yeah, she was going to do all the work and run the restaurant, but the only trouble was the kids were too young.
Ah.
So it took too much time trying to run the restaurant and trying to do the kids, and I don't know. I was away racing and wasn't home enough, so it just didn't work, you know. So eventually I just shut it down, sold it.
Dang.
So, yeah.
That would have been a cool thing to, you know, still have running after all these years.
Well, and I thought that would be a good thing for down the road, a good investment, but just didn't work, you know. So we did it for a couple of years.
Because you do need a plan B in racing. I think
yeah.
that you would have to give young drivers, if they were to ask for advice, I want to be an outlaw driver.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. What's your plan B? Like, there has to be a plan B, doesn't it?
Better have a plan B because it's not always good.
No.
You know, you can have a lot of good years, make a lot of money, but you can have a few bad years and all of a sudden that money's gone. So
You told me a story about the generosity and the kindness of the luminary of World of Outlaw sprint car racing, a guy that probably didn't get a lot of credence for being a kind man. Tell me about who I'm talking about and how he looked after your family.
Ted Johnson, he helped us out when we were on the road. If you ever needed any money,
Yep.
and there was times when things didn't go good or you had a lot of rainouts. I can remember one time when my wife was pregnant, we had something like 10 or 12 weeks in a row where it rained, and we're out on the road staying in motel rooms, and sometimes you need a little money. Well, Ted would go get in the t-shirt bag and give us a couple bucks and help us out once in a while. So that was, I always remembered that. That was kind of neat, and people probably never heard them stories.
Catch him before he went to the roulette wheel.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Kathy was saying like your son Chase got burnt once or something like that, and he stopped the whole event and managed to get medics over. And
Had
so it
the
sounds like he
ambulance
really,
come over. Yeah, and that was kind of really nice of him.
The difference in intensity, running at Pennsylvania, being a big dog, winning up to 30 races a year, all that cool stuff. Then you go out on the road with the big boys. How much of a shock to the system was that, or was it not as hard as you thought it would be?
Well, I don't think it was hard. It's just a adjustment. I mean, you're not going to win all them races. I wasn't Steve Kinzer, so I'm not going to win all those races. But it was just another challenge. We're going to different tracks and different cars and different people, and I don't know. Just I kind of like the challenge of it, I guess. Something new and different. And it was back then. It was hard to get a good car. There was only X amount of good cars, and it was really hard to get a good car, and I could never get a good car at the right time. I got that Coors Extra Gold car at one time, and that was the only trouble was that it was right at the end of the contract. So
Right.
I could just never get in the right car at the right time.
Gorgeous piece.
Yes,
Oof.
yes. And won some races in it, And then drove the Gil Saunders car, 47 Casey General Store
Iconic.
car. Won a couple of races in that, but it was just always, the timing was never right. So.
And so much of it is timing, and I imagine so much is confidence too, Keith. Were you a confidence racer?
Well, it does help. The better you do, the better your confidence is. If you're not going good and things are, not up to snuff or something, and just, I don't know, gets everybody down. It can be a humbling sport.
Back when you were racing, were t-shirt sales, enough of a factor to keep you on the road? I mean, I was talking to Jack the other day, Hordenshield, and he was saying that he had to win a lot of nights to beat Paddy in the t-shirt trailer, because he certainly has had a huge following, like Steve and Sammy and all those big dogs.
Yeah.
What was that like for you?
Well, and it did help. It helped pay the bills. It put gas and bought the motel rooms and all that stuff. Anything helps. Because you don't always do good. Even Jack will tell you the same thing. You don't always, win that big money, but. The t-shirt sales for us was probably better when we came home, because I was more of a local guy, and it seems like we always sold more t-shirts at home than we did out in the road, but it did help.
This is, I said this to you earlier, this is the most unique state I've been to in terms of out and out sprint car passion. The fans here are brutal. Like, there's no filter. If they don't like you, they're going to let you know they don't like you.
Yeah.
But they're also going to give you credit at the end of it. If you kick their ass, then okay, but don't do it again. Why is Pennsylvania different? What is the culture that's different?
I don't know. You've asked me that and talked about that, but I don't know. I guess I just grew up being used to that. You're from I don't know, a different country. Maybe it was just different from where you're at, but I don't know. I guess they're just more hard-nosed people here or something.
Definitely more proud. I think every Posse fan will tell you that Posse is the right, and then the rest of the country says get off the porch. There's a beautiful rivalry, isn't it? There's Pennsylvania versus the rest of the country.
Yeah. If they didn't like it, come in here and race, but they didn't want to go out there and race all the time. So I don't know. Some of the guys do travel. I mean, even back when I traveled, it was there was a few of us traveling, some didn't. So I don't know. It's just the way it was,
Who came up with the idea of the PA Posse? Do you know where that started?
Boy, I don't. I can't tell you.
It's been around a long time.
Yeah, a long time,
And it's a rite of passage, isn't it? Like, if you are
it's
regarded as Posse.
The Posse won a lot of races against the Outlaws,
Yeah.
and they're considered the best, and they are the best, because they race so much. But it's tough when you come back here. I know when I was out on the road running those cars, when we come back this way, you dug out your best motor, made sure you had the freshest cars. They had to get themselves ready. because it was tough.
Were people from Ohio a bit more accepted than other states? Brad Doty had a pretty good fan following here. Obviously, he drove the Bowers Coal car, and I spoke to Darren Pittman a couple of years ago, the Natty O. He said it took forever for people to accept him here, but now he's got some of the best fans in the world right here. So maybe PA people just feel you out a bit, you know?
Oh yeah, they're good at that. They like to see the local guys do good, you know.
Yeah.
They don't always want to see somebody coming in from another state, but they like to see their own guys, especially if somebody does good like myself, you know, they like that, so.
You started off here selling popcorn and seat covers as a little kid. You lived probably a couple of football fields over the top of Turn 3 over there. You had an amazing career, 130, we'll say, wins here at Fort Royal. There's one that they talk about that we won't worry about that. I think it was over 300 career wins, right?
Yeah.
And here you are, still standing in this place. A lot of it that you work on, this venue, you do a lot of work on the actual facility. You're a real mouthpiece for it, a real focal point for it. Why are you still so in love with this sport, Keith?
I don't know. I don't know. Just something. I fell in love with this place and just enjoy doing it, and I want it to succeed so the other people can see it, you know, and come and try to make it a better place and make it better for the kids.
How would you like to be remembered as a racer, as a person in Pennsylvanian Sprintcar racing? I don't think it's something you ever sat down and thought about, but I'm asking you now, if long after you're gone, when people say, you know, Keith Kauffman, how would you like people to look back?
Well, it'd be kind of neat if they remembered what I did on the accomplishments I had on the racetrack, and then, you know, when I quit racing, I tried to give back to the sport, you know, and took a lot of money out of this place over the years too. So now I'm just kind of trying to give some back, you know, spend my time here and helping just make it a better place, you know. Fort Royal's just a small town, so we want to put it on the map and make this one of the nicest tracks in the country.
Let's go find a sign. There's got to be a sign in town, right? We'll just write your name underneath. The home of the man from Mifflintown, all right? Let's do it. I'm in, right? You in?
I'm in.
All right, let's do it.
Okay.
So this is, how long ago was this, Keith?
Oh God, how long was it ago when they tore that down? It's probably been
2000s?
probably early 2000s.
Okay. And so whereabouts did you used to, just point again where you used to stand or you used to sell?
Right in here.
Okay.
That was the main entrance.
Is there a little plaque or an ornament down there or something like that? You know, this is where Keith sold me popcorn.
It's all cushions.
Yeah, cushions. That means that you've been saving people from a pain in the ass, even though you probably are one, right, Kathy?
All I sell is cushions.
Yeah. It'll eventually water.
This is.
You can see how high it was.
This tunnel is way bigger than I was thinking it was going to be. Just the amount of concrete that you would have, you know. Holy cow.
You can see the water line.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. We'll send Kathy down to check it's not too deep. Holy cow. Yeah, we're not going down there.
There is a drain. There is a drain and a pump that pumps the water out, but it's slow.
Wow, this is good announcing acoustics here. Let's go racing here in Knoxville. There you go, Tony Bockhoven, just for you. Wow, you could sing in here. To all the girls I've loved before.
Like a bombshell.
All right, so until we get the real one, just put. Yeah. Thumbs up. Beautiful. My work is done here. All right, Council, Governor Mifflin, founded all those years ago, just after Keith started racing. We need a decent sign by the time I get back, all right? You've got till I get back.